Today we're talking on how to use the NetBeez API. API stands for Application Programming Interface, and it's a way to interact with an application, device, or system by pulling information out of it or pushing commands via a well-defined set of instructions or routines. NetBeez offers an API for our user to gather network monitoring data from the dashboard, and that relates to the performance data captured by the agents. The data is encoded in JSON, and here you see an example of a JSON output from NetBeez, and it's a very widely used method to process data from APIs. The current version of the NetBeez API is read-only. That means you can only get data and not make changes via the push API. If you want to learn more about the different queries that you can do via the NetBeez API, we offer a documentation within your dashboard. So you go to your dashboard URL and then you type swagger/index.html, and you'll see the page with all the API calls that you can execute and the outputs, for example. So then you can take those calls and include them in your application or third-party system. To execute an API, you must be authenticated. So via the NetBeez dashboard, you can build API keys that then you'll use from an external system. We have placed on different part of the dashboard elements that small icon where that you can click on it to see how it looks, the API output for that specific object where you find that icon. We also wrote a blog post, so go to our blog netbeez.net/blog, search for API, and that would be the first article that explains a little more some details around the APIs and how to run test queries with using an open source tool such as curl. Okay, enough said. Let's check a demo on our dashboard. As you can see, if I go on an agent, and you can see this agent has associated this icon. If I click here now, it's gonna go to show me the output. Or I can see, in the case of a test, this real-time test to Google, how it looks like the ping test API. So I'm gonna click on this link, and there you go. You see the output of the API call associated to that real-time test. So let me show you how to generate API keys. You go in the NetBeez settings, and then under API keys, there is a whole entry. You can generate one key and then use the key on a third-party app. I recommend that you generate one key per each external system that is integrating with your NetBeez instance. So if one system gets compromised and the key gets revealed, you can delete that key and generate a new one. Also, let me show you the Swagger documentation I was mentioning before. You go to your dashboard URL, so you keep the first part and you remove the rest. Then you type swagger/index.html, and here you see how the API calls in the current version of NetBeez look like. So you have API calls to get information about the access point from Wi-Fi agents, if you have some, or from the agent itself. About the alerts triggered by the agents, the targets that you're monitoring, or the tests that the agents are running, and so on. You can then click, for example, an entry and see what are the results. And so on. NB test, for example. There you go. Okay, so the benefit of an API is clearly like to use the data captured by NetBeez and share the data with other maybe users that are not that don't have a need to access the NetBeez dashboard. So if you want to learn more, check on our documentation or feel free to reach out to us at netbeez.net, and then you can request a demo or submit any questions that you may have. Thank you.